When the true heir showed up at my door, the story was already reaching its climax. My parents were wary of me seizing the family fortune, and my sister scolded me for being shameless. Even my fiancé, who had been promised to me since childhood, unhesitatingly broke off our engagement. The Lin family kicked me out, leaving me to wander the streets, plotting for me to die unnoticed. Little did they know, I had already become part of the elite. Chapter 1. When Michael appeared at my doorstep, I had already packed my things. My parents and sister stood at the door to greet Michael. At first glance, I knew he was truly my parents' biological son. His features mirrored my mother's. Mr. Lin nodded at him, patting his shoulder, saying, "It's good to have you back. You've suffered all these years." Mrs. Lin's eyes welled up with tears as she rushed to embrace Michael, along with my sister, crying uncontrollably. Michael remained impassive in their embrace. He looked up and spotted me standing in the corner. When our eyes met, the indifference in his gaze instantly turned to red, tears streaming down his cheeks, while the corners of his mouth curled up subtly. I cleared my throat, and it was as if they had just noticed my presence. Their expressions soured immediately. They had no intention of introducing me but were eager to usher Michael inside. It was Michael who paused as he passed by me, asking, "Who is he?" Mrs. Lin shot me an awkward glance, her expression flustered. "This is Kevin." I thought Michael would ignore me and leave, but to my surprise, he took a deep breath, his tone both sad and resolute. "So, he's the boy who replaced me, isn't he?" In those days when I had no parents, growing up alone in the orphanage, there was another son keeping you company. At this, Mrs. Lin couldn't hold back any longer. She stroked Michael's arm and cried out again, "Michael, it's all my fault for losing you. From now on, you'll be my only son." Mr. Lin was also deeply moved, glaring at me with disdain while comforting Michael. "Don't worry, Michael. As long as you carry the blood of the Lin family, no one can take what belongs to you." Before I could even open my mouth, I was branded with the accusation of seizing the family fortune. Indeed, the dream I had as a child was all too real. Chapter 2. This is a world of revenge and triumph for the protagonist. Michael is the male lead of this story. He grew up in an orphanage, but despite his poverty, he had lofty ambitions. After returning to the Lin family as an adult, he transformed from a penniless youth into the heir of a wealthy family, ultimately reaching the pinnacle of success and marrying a rich beauty. As for me, I happen to be the cannon fodder male supporting character in this narrative. After losing everything that originally belonged to me to the male lead, I developed a hatred for him, constantly opposing him in an attempt to reclaim my family fortune. Of course, my ending was tragic. I was kicked out of the Lin family and left to wander the streets. The Lin family, to prevent future issues, even hired someone to stab me to death in a dark corner. It was a melodramatic plot, truly reflecting the saying, "Don't bully young people for being poor." I awoke from that dream in a cold sweat, still feeling the phantom pain of a knife wound in my abdomen. Lost in thought, I suddenly heard Luna Lin seemingly comment casually, "How shameless to occupy someone else's life for so long without any sense of guilt. Only our parents have such good hearts. Brother, don't stoop to his level." I froze in place. My sister, whom I had spoiled for over a decade, had been acting all cute in front of me yesterday but was now rolling her eyes at me. I didn't say a word and walked back to my room. I stared at the date circled on the calendar, starting to calculate how much longer I had until I would leave. Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin quickly handled Michael's school enrollment, placing him in the same high school as me. To help Michael integrate into the elite circles of this prestigious school, they even transferred him to my class. But the very next day after he joined, word of my status as the false heir spread throughout the school. Our school is full of sharp minds. The social networks here are no less intricate than those in the real world. Soon enough, I heard the mocking remarks directed at me. Initially, they whispered behind my back, seemingly afraid I wouldn't hear. "Kevin is still putting on a show. Huh? He acted all high and mighty, and I thought he really was the Lin family's heir. Too proud to associate with a small family's. Turns out he's just a fake. How can he still have the audacity to stay with the Lin family? Truly shameless." As time went on, they started pushing me around, ostracizing me, and when I walked by, they would cover their noses, pretending to smell a rat. Even Bianca, who had always clung to me as my fiancé, wasted no time in distancing herself. "I've only ever wanted to marry the Lin family's heir, not some random nobody." She started chasing after Michael, calling him Brother Michael. I was just glad to have some peace, focusing on preparing for the college entrance exams, until the day before the exams, when a few burly boys grabbed me and dragged me into the boys' restroom. Chapter 3. I didn't say a word during the entire journey. I knew this was definitely instigated by Michael. After all, our relationship was bound to be anything but peaceful. The restroom was dark and damp, completely empty. They were looking at me with eager expressions, but I calmly asked, "Aren't you afraid of being seen? The school is empty at this hour, and to deal with you today." Lingu even had the surveillance cameras turned off. The closest boy sneered. Another boy propped the restroom door shut with a mop, turning back with his sleeves rolled up, grinning. "Besides, you're just a dog raised by the Lin family. No one cares about your life or death, then I won't hold back. I didn't give them any time to react, throwing a punch at one of the boys, who staggered back, seeing stars, blood pouring from his nose. Another boy lunged at me, but I sidestepped him, then delivered a swift kick to his groin. He collapsed to the floor, clutching himself in agony, shouting, "Kevin, how dare you hit me?" I dusted off my sleeves and laughed lightly. What's there to be afraid of? There's no surveillance. The bloodied boy watched his companion in pain and felt a chill run down his spine. Seeing me look back at him, he quickly squatted down to protect himself, trembling. "Aren't you afraid we'll tell the teacher?" I smirked, showing disdain. "Do you think the teacher would believe someone who has always excelled in academics, never causing trouble, or would they believe you two thugs?" With that, I turned and walked out without looking back. As I exited the restroom, I saw a girl with striking features emerge from the adjacent girls' restroom. I paused for a moment. She shot a meaningful glance at the boys' restroom before sizing me up and leaving without saying a word. I recognized her. She was Diana, the school beauty. We had once been featured side by side on the school's beauty forum. No other reason. She and I are like the grass and flowers on the high ridge. Chapter 4. When I got home, I walked in on Mrs. Lin fussing over Michael. "Michael, how have you been adjusting to school lately? If you need anything, just tell Mom. You don't have to worry about the exams. No matter how you do, you'll still end up working for the family business." Michael had just started to smile in response when he saw me walk in, completely unharmed. His expression froze, the smile plastered on his face. "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Did someone bully you?" Mrs. Lin, concerned, stepped forward to check for any injuries on him, but Michael gently replied, "No one bullies me. If anyone tries to, Kevin will protect me, right?" Only then did Mrs. Lin realize and turn to face me. She frowned. "Why are you back so late? You should have been with Michael. What if someone bullied him on the way?" Michael patted Mrs. Lin's hand reassuringly. "It's fine, Mom. Who would dare bully me? Kevin is quite famous at school. Just hearing his name makes others hesitate to touch me." How ridiculous. The one who was dragged into the restroom today to be beaten was me. Yet the one being cared for was the culprit, Michael. After hearing Michael's words, Mrs. Lin sneered. "His so-called fame comes from the resources and support we provided him. Without us, he is nothing." She then seemed to worry about Michael's feelings, hurriedly adding, "You are the Lin family's heir. You'll have more prestige than he ever will." Her words completely erased the accomplishments I had earned through hard work over the past few years. I didn't want to watch their mother-son drama any longer. I said nothing and headed straight upstairs to my room. Michael followed, calling out to me, "How did you get back?" I smiled and explained for him. "You want to ask why I'm not injured, right?" Michael remained silent, acknowledging my statement. I gave him a gentle smile. "Michael, do you really think I spent the past 18 years just lying in bed as a young master? A man needs some skills to rely on." Unlike Michael, who was tall and thin, I had a habit of exercising since childhood. After all, I was raised as the heir of the Lin family, so I had to learn various sports. It wasn't surprising that I knew some taekwondo. Ignoring Michael's resentful gaze, I was about to leave when he spoke up quietly. "Do you think our parents and sister care more about you or about me?" I didn't answer, but from his meaningful smile, I knew he was up to something. "If they knew you pushed me down the stairs out of fear, I'd compete with you for the family fortune, causing me to injure my hand and miss the college entrance exams. What do you think they would think?" Chapter 5. As soon as he finished speaking, Michael stepped back and fell. I could have caught him, but I didn't. I simply watched coldly as he tumbled down. The house erupted into chaos. Michael was rushed to the hospital. As I observed the commotion suddenly turn quiet, a smile crept onto my lips. I realized my vengeful nature justified my role as a supporting character. Since Michael loved to put on a show, I'd play along to the end. Until after the college entrance exams, the Lin family didn't return from the hospital. I loaded the luggage I had packed long ago onto a truck and left a letter in the living room, sincerely thanking the Lin family for raising me over the past 18 years. In the letter, I mentioned that I had turned 18 and was capable of supporting myself. Since the true heir of the Lin family had returned, I had no reason to stay. I wished them well in taking care of Michael and making up for the years they had been absent from his life. To make it more convincing, I dripped a couple of drops of eye drops on the letter to show my reluctance. Besides that, I also left a card containing the amount of money the Lin family had spent on me over the years. In total, it was 8 million. I even left 2 million extra to round it off. After completing all this, I took a last look at the place I had lived in for 18 years, leaving without a trace of nostalgia. I heard that Michael had been gloomy for a long time because he originally intended to fall down just to fake an injury and skip the exams, but he ended up severely injuring his right hand. The Lin family also had no intention of letting me go. They were constantly investigating my whereabouts, fearing I would return for that money and that my presence might threaten Michael. They plotted to have me killed in a place no one would know, unaware that I had already paved my own way. No one would know where I was, alive or dead. Chapter 6. The next time I saw Michael was at an auction. He had transformed from the thin, gloomy boy into a refined, distinguished man. Although his right hand moved somewhat stiffly, it couldn't hide his commanding presence. Surrounded by people eager to curry favor, I stood quietly on the side, observing. Michael soon spotted me. He walked over slowly, a mocking smile curving his lips. "Kevin, long time no see." I nodded politely. "You've made it hard for me to find you, murderer." At this, everyone else in the room gasped. Michael seemed pleased with their reaction and continued. "Back then, you pushed me down the stairs to compete for the family fortune. Who would have thought I'd survive against the odds?" This auction featured valuable items, and the guests were all notable figures, many of whom knew about the Lin family having 2 sons. As for why one had suddenly disappeared, everyone guessed the story after Michael's words, their gazes towards me filled with undisguised disdain. I smirked. "Are you foolish or am I? You fell down from the 2nd floor, not the 20th. I could roll down 10 times from that height without a scratch. The only one who could ruin his hand is you. Besides, you deliberately threw yourself down. Now you want to pin the blame on me." I paused for a moment, sizing Michael up before deliberately adopting a critical tone. Instead of complaining, "Why not focus on getting fit? You look like a frail monkey. One touch and you fall apart." Michael's face turned a mix of red and white at my words. Michael grew up in an orphanage, so it's normal for him to be in poor health. You think you can kill him and take over the Lin family's fortune just because you're strong? If it weren't for the Lin family raising you for 18 years, do you think you'd still be standing here? I scoffed lightly. "Why not ask your dear brother Michael if I left behind $1 million when I left the Lin family? I owe them nothing. Want to take over the Lin family's wealth? If I truly coveted it, would I leave so easily and give you the chance to slander me?" Ignoring them, I headed straight for a seat in the corner. Bianca sneered. "I wonder whose invitation this thug stole to get in here. He only deserves to sit in a place where no one can see him." With that, she linked her arm with Michael's and strutted to the middle of the front row to take a seat. Chapter 7. At an auction like this, the earlier items showcased were merely for warming up the atmosphere. I was bored, watching the bidding and getting a general sense of the backgrounds and strengths of those present. People like Bianca had no real power, relying solely on marriages to cling to stronger families to secure their positions. She eagerly bid on every attractive piece of jewelry, regardless of its value. Then there were those like Diana, who only bid on items of real value but managed to acquire them at just the right price. Diana was indeed present. As soon as I entered the venue, I spotted her. She was the same as always, seemingly indifferent, quietly sitting in a corner and handling work. As the auction approached its conclusion, a necklace named Heart of Summer was presented, instantly igniting excitement in the room. The transparent diamonds alone were worth tens of millions, not to mention the nephrite and over 100 imperial green jade stones adorning it. It was said to have been handcrafted by a renowned designer and craftsman from abroad, taking tens of thousands of hours to complete. However, the designer remained a mystery. No one knew their identity. Bidding erupted immediately. Bianca was particularly enthusiastic. She had never seen such a gorgeous necklace and insisted on pulling Michael to bid for her repeatedly. Of course, Michael was determined to win the necklace. To help them out, I also raised my paddle a few times to increase the price. Then Diana spoke up. Her bid silenced most of the crowd. They hesitated to raise their paddles. Only then did Michael and Bianca notice Diana sitting in the other corner. Bianca's expression darkened as she pulled on Michael's arm, trying to play the damsel in distress. Michael, however, shot a complicated glance at Diana before calling out a bid, a strange smile curling at his lips. Diana didn't bid again. The Heart of Summer was undoubtedly won by Michael. Bianca raised an eyebrow at Diana with a triumphant look. After the auction, winners were required to take their identification cards to the back to pay and collect their items. I followed suit, just in time to see Michael stop Diana. "MS, then. Mr. Lin noticed you were quite fond of the Heart of Summer. Why don't you come with us to take a closer look?" Bianca, clearly displeased, tugged at Michael a few times, only to be shrugged off. Diana and replied, disinterested, "There's no need. Since it's not meant to be, there's no point in lingering." As she turned to leave, I chimed in, "MS, then. Let's take a look together. I heard there's a matching bracelet that wasn't auctioned off. We might be able to get it." Michael frowned at me, his tone unfriendly. "Kevin, have you forgotten your identity? Do you think you're still the young master of the Lin family? I've never heard of a matching bracelet. Where did you get that information?" Diana, however, didn't refute me. She simply smiled faintly. Better to believe than not. After all, it won't take much time to take a look. She stepped toward the reception area. Michael shot me a venomous glare before following in Diana's footsteps. Chapter 8. When I entered, Michael already had the Heart of Summer in his hands. Bianca looked at him eagerly. Michael, however, changed his tone and handed the necklace to Diana. "MS, then. Would you like to try it on? A big man like Mr. Lin certainly doesn't need this necklace. If MS and likes it, I can gift it to you." Diana was momentarily stunned, seemingly taken aback that Michael would present the necklace to her in front of Bianca. His words rendered Bianca almost invisible. I signaled the waiter and said to Michael, Since Mr. Lin is gifting it, it wouldn't be right to give just one piece. The set should be complete to match the Lin family's status. As soon as I finished speaking, the waiter brought out the matching bracelet. It featured the same imperial green jade and nephrite, and a discerning eye could tell that its value was not much lower than the necklace's. The consignor of this piece mentioned that matching items shouldn't be separated. If Mr. Lin truly wishes to gift it, he'll need to pay for both items together. The waiter chimed in. Why wasn't this mentioned during the auction? Are you trying to force a sale? Michael gripped the necklace tightly, his voice filled with anger. According to the plot, the Lin family was facing a near-bankruptcy crisis. If I remembered the timeline correctly, this auction was the turning point for the Lin family. He had intended to gift the necklace to Diana to secure a marriage alliance with the Yin family, leveraging their massive cash flow to turn the situation around. However, after bouncing back, he would swallow the Yin family whole, becoming the largest family in a city. Michael's current reaction confirmed my suspicions. I knew that given the Lin family's financial situation, buying the Heart of Summer was already a risky bet for Michael, but he couldn't afford to pay for another piece. If Mr. Lin cannot make the payment, this item can also be returned, the waiter reminded. But returning the item would send it back to the market, and everyone present at the auction would learn that the Lin family couldn't even afford a necklace, unless Michael was willing to gamble all his liquid assets on this one bet. But he wouldn't do that. Having lived in poverty since childhood, he learned to always keep something in reserve. His life couldn't withstand another overturn. As the moment of decision approached, Michael hesitated. Diana stepped forward to defuse the situation. Mr. Lin, I genuinely love the designer's work. Why not do this? I'll pay for the bracelet. And for the necklace, I'll pay at my previous bid. The remainder will be covered by Mr. Lin. I didn't raise my bid further because I felt it wasn't worth it. So if Mr. Lin is willing to part with it, I'm still interested in buying it at my bid. Michael had no other choice but to agree. This was the only way to preserve the Lin family's reputation without losing a significant amount of money. Chapter 9. No need for all this trouble. If MS and truly likes it, I'll gift you the bracelet. Michael looked at me with derision. Kevin, before you try to puff yourself up, maybe consider if you have the resources to back it up. I doubt everything you're wearing adds up to $1 million. Yet you have the audacity to offer a bracelet worth tens of millions. I ignored Michael and gently put the bracelet on Diana's wrist, smiling as I said, it looks great. It complements MS's elegance perfectly. If MS likes it, I can design a few more pieces just for her. No charge. Diana looked at me in disbelief. Michael's face turned a shade of green with rage. He never expected that the jewelry he'd splurged on was actually designed by me. Kevin, this is a setup you arranged with the auction house, isn't it? The Heart of Summer was designed by a renowned designer abroad. There's no way it's connected to you. I raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. This entire collection was indeed completed by me while overseas. If you truly doubt it, just check the back of the central jade. It's engraved with Yuan. Michael snatched the necklace from the waiter's hands. When he saw the inconspicuous letters engraved on the back, he froze in shock. Did you never wonder why the Lin family hasn't found me all these years? Michael murmured. Impossible. Where did you get the money to go abroad? Didn't you give all your money back to the Lin family? I stepped closer to Michael, smirking. Mr. Lin, I told you before, my 18 years in the Lin family weren't spent lounging around. Michael glared at me with malice. Kevin, you dare to mess with me? Just wait. With that, he yanked Bianca, who was still standing beside him, and stormed off in fury. Diana picked up the necklace on the table, her charming smile directed at me. Could you, designer Kevin, please put this necklace on for me? I gladly obliged. As I placed the necklace around Diana's neck, she suddenly lifted her wrist. So, does your gift of the bracelet come with a request? I gazed at the reflection of her face in the mirror, a smile playing on my lips. MS and is quite perceptive, just as she dropped my surname, addressing me by my first name. I'd like to ask MS and to join me in a game. I intended to cut off all of Michael's escape routes, whether through financing or marriage. Chapter 10. After I explained the plot to Diana, I didn't receive the surprise I expected. She maintained her calm demeanor, as if she had been aware of everything all along. Then let's get married. Since we'll eventually be at the same table, why not enter the game early? I was momentarily taken aback. I hadn't anticipated Diana would propose this herself. She smiled at me. Like you, I've been awakened for some time, but taking down a prestigious company like Lin's isn't as simple as I want it to be. If my investigation is correct, Panda Capital belongs to you. Right. Panda Capital, the largest venture capital firm in a city, had collaborated with nearly every major company, regardless of size. The smallest financing deals they took on were in the hundreds of millions, not to mention the several clients with assets exceeding billions. Though I wasn't the legal representative of Panda Capital, I had built that empire from behind the scenes. From the moment I had that dream as a child, I utilized all available resources from the Lin family to study finance, make investments, and maintain connections. Of course, I wasn't using my own name. Everything I did only had significance if it didn't appear to be my doing. Panda had achieved its current stature thanks to the financing projects I facilitated for the Lin family, enabling them to secure billions in funding and acquire a 7% stake in Lin's company, thus establishing a strong reputation in the industry. I always thought I had hidden my tracks well, considering the Lin family had searched for me for years without finding any clues. Yet Diana pointed it out effortlessly. The Yin family has also collaborated with Panda. My father took me to those events from a young age for training. Do you remember the day you beat up the guy blocking you in the restroom? I frowned, recalling the moment, and suddenly everything clicked into place. When you were organizing your backpack, a sketchbook fell out, revealing a design for the Panda logo. That's right. Finance and venture capital were merely the foundations I laid. Design was what I truly aspired to do. The Panda logo was my very first design piece. Then I won't beat around the bush. I took out the contract I had prepared long ago and handed it to Diana. I don't want to take advantage of you, MS, and to ensure our mutual interests, I've drafted a contract outlining our arrangements during our marriage. As long as we don't cause any major public scandals, we'll both lead our own lives without interference. The contract will be effective until the moment the Lin family collapses. Diana scrutinized me for a moment, then broke into a radiant smile. Pleasure to cooperate. Chapter 11. After the news of my engagement to Diana was announced, a wave of insults flooded in as expected. They accused me of being a Phoenixman who intended to seize control of the Yin family. After all, Diana was the only child of the Yin family. Once her parents passed, I would become the one in charge. Some even claimed that I had attempted to kill Michael by pushing him down the stairs in a bid for the family fortune. I knew these rumors were orchestrated by Michael and Bianca, but it wasn't yet time for me to retaliate. I had severed Michael's route to the Yin family's resources, forcing him to hold a financing meeting in search of a scapegoat among the wealthy elite of a city to pave his way. Panda Capital was still the one handling financing proposals for the Lin family. Michael was presenting under the guise of a new AI project. The current state of the Lin family had been well concealed by them. Even Bianca remained unaware. However, when it came time to seek funding, certain details had to be disclosed, such as why the Lin family needed external funding despite their own company's expansion, and why the financing amount was so high this time, requiring a single round of funding. What would happen if the project encountered issues? I understood that Michael had little time left to wait. I exchanged a glance with Diana. She generously offered to invest $50 billion for a 30% stake in Lin's company. While the potential for AI was vast, the associated risks were equally significant. Moreover, the Lin family was currently valued at just over $100 billion, making it a poor trade to exchange less than half the shares for that investment. Michael sensed something was off but still agreed. After all, this was urgent funding. With the Yin family willing to shoulder the initial investment burden for the project, others would be more inclined to follow suit. As Michael began to relax, Diana strategically interjected, "Mr. Lin, the Yin family has always been optimistic about the Lin family's development, but as you mentioned, this is a new direction, and Lin's company isn't originally a tech enterprise, so the risks are significant. In addition to this 30% stake, we would also like to sign a betting agreement, using 14% of shares as collateral. If Michael's project failed or didn't meet performance standards, the Yin family could acquire an additional 14% stake." Michael's expression darkened. If the project failed, the Yin family would hold 44% of Lin's shares, becoming the second largest shareholder. Was this risk worth taking? Michael had no choice but to accept. If it weren't for the cash flow crisis, he would never have gone public with his need for funding. He gritted his teeth and stated firmly, "Agreed." After signing the investment intention agreement, Michael visibly relaxed. At the banquet following the investment meeting, he made a point to toast me and Diana. "Thank you so much for your support today, MS, and I'll come by to express my gratitude properly another time. But now, could I have a word alone with Kevin?" Chapter 12. Diana nodded and stepped away. As I watched her retreating figure, a sense of unease washed over me. Michael blocked my view, a cryptic smile curling at his lips. "Kevin, you're quite capable. You've left the Lin family and have now climbed the Yin family's high branches." I didn't respond, merely took another sip of my drink. "Do you really think Diana will marry you?" Michael straightened his posture, adjusting his suit jacket with an air of arrogance. "Kevin, sometimes I find you guys quite pitiful. Just clueless paper dolls. No matter how you struggle, you can't escape the confines of the script." He gazed at me with a disdainful look. "But I'm different. I'm the one who breaks the fourth wall, the male lead in this novel world. I'm destined to be the strongest here. Don't you think someone like Diana deserves a strongman like me?" My inner unease grew stronger. I kept scanning the crowd for a glimpse of Diana, yet I couldn't even catch a glimpse of her dress. Just as I was about to confront Michael, a dull pain struck the back of my head, and I blacked out. When I came to, I found myself in a room. Diana lay on the bed, flushed and furrowed brow, her rapid breathing betraying the turmoil of desire within her. I immediately realized what had happened, but my hands and feet were bound, leaving me unable to move. With a soft thud, the bathroom door swung open. Michael emerged in a bathrobe, He looked at me, excitement glinting in his eyes as I struggled against my restraints. You like opposing me? Huh? Well, today I'll show you what happens when you do. I'll tell you, Diana's future partner can only be me. As Michael leaned over Diana, the door was suddenly kicked open. In an instant, the police were on him, pinning him to the bed before he could even put on his clothes. His previous arrogance faded, replaced by a manic expression. Kevin, you set me up again. You think you can walk away unscathed? The Lin family won't let you go. If I die, you won't survive either. I ignored his frantic shouts, simply thanking the officers before taking Diana to the hospital. As I passed him, I leaned in close and said earnestly, "It doesn't matter. I'm just a cannon fodder supporting character anyway." Chapter 13. At a crucial moment for Lin Industries financing, the controlling figure was exposed in a sexual assault scandal. Simultaneously, a report from a well-known venture capital firm regarding an internal investigation at Lin Industries sent shockwaves through a city. The issuer of the report was Panda Capital, a long-term partner holding a 7% stake in Lin Industries. The report laid bare the dire situation of Lin Industries, revealing plummeting revenue, stagnant cash flow, and various instances of internal corruption. As a reputable investment firm both domestically and internationally, Panda Capital had no reason to fabricate a report that would harm its own interests. In no time, the area outside Lin Industries was filled with investors seeking accountability. Meanwhile, An Industries, the largest investor in Lin's new project, also released a statement. During their investigation into Lin's new project, An Industries discovered that Michael had not allocated funds for research and development. Instead, he was secretly using them as operating capital for Lin Industries, with considerable amounts funneled into the Lin family's own pockets. An Industries sued Lin Industries for damages to investor interests. I met Lin's parents in Diana's office after several years apart. In the meantime, they had been busy dealing with the fallout from Michael's actions, and now the internal scandal at Lin Industries had erupted. The stock price had plummeted, leaving them overwhelmed. With Michael still in jail and the Lin family now fully restored to Lin's father's control, no one from the Lin family could appear in court again. If that happened, the repercussions would surely extend far beyond what had already been made public. Initially, they just wanted to plead with Diana for a withdrawal of the lawsuit, but when they saw me, they froze in place. Realization dawned on them in an instant. This was all part of the trap Diana and I had set. Chapter 14. Kevin, the Lin family raised you for 18 years, and this is how you repay us? I smirked. Repay? After leaving the Lin family, I nearly lost my life several times. Wasn't that the Lin family's doing? If I hadn't prepared an escape route for myself, I might have ended up dead in some corner by now, right? Lin's father maintained a facade of anguish, but Lin's mother couldn't hold back any longer. You're so young, yet your mind is so heavy. The moment Michael returned, you targeted him. You joined forces with others at school to bully him, calling him uncouth and even laid hands on him. That night you pushed him down the stairs was because you feared he'd tell us about his experiences at school. You're so malicious. If we don't get rid of you, how will you avoid taking revenge on Michael when you come back? I narrowed my eyes, coldness creeping into my tone. Did Michael tell you all this? Of course not. Michael is a good kid. He never wanted to compete with you. If it weren't for Bianca, who couldn't bear to see Michael with a broken hand and eventually told us, we wouldn't have known you had done such a monstrous thing. I couldn't help but laugh. I always knew Michael loved to play the victim, but I hadn't realized he could wield others as weapons. If what he claimed was true, being a book transmigrator, then the reason he wanted me dead was clear. I was the variable in his story. He had read the whole plot, so he understood that my reactions to his arrival differed from those written. He tried to use his knowledge of the script to eliminate me quickly, not knowing I understood this world better than he did. Well, if I'm so monstrous, then what I plan to do next won't be that difficult. I took Diana's hand and pulled her into my embrace. To have my fiancée withdraw her lawsuit against your Lin family is simple. Just surrender Lin Industries, take Luna, leave a city, and swear never to return or meddle in Michael's affairs. Lin's father's composure shattered, his expression turning feral. Kevin, even if An Industries takes that 44% stake, the Lin family will still be the largest shareholder of Lin Industries. What right do you have to demand we exit? Mr. Lin, I'm not negotiating terms with you. This is your only way out. Given that the Lin family raised me well, and I haven't suffered any real harm, I'm willing to spare you. I handed them the Panda Capital shareholding document. With my 7% stake in Panda, An Industries will hold 51% of Lin Industries as the largest shareholder. If you leave, I'll give you some money to ensure your safe departure. But if you choose to stay, I'll ensure Lin Industries pays the ultimate price. In the end, the Lin family capitulated. In the realm of fame and fortune, aside from money and power, they'd forsaken all notions of familial ties and ethics. Otherwise, they wouldn't have believed Michael's mere words and unconditionally cast me aside without investigating. Chapter 15. On the day An Industries acquired Lin Industries, I sought out Diana. I had facilitated An Industries takeover of Lin Industries, causing Panda Capital's shares to surge. Meanwhile, Michael, facing multiple charges including attempted sexual assault, embezzlement, corruption, and fraud, would have to spend his life in prison. Our goals had been achieved, and it was time for the agreement to come to an end. I didn't want to delay her, but things didn't seem to go as I planned. Kevin, I want to inject capital into Panda. My hand slipped as I was flipping through the agreement, and rip echoed as I tore a large hole in the contract. The sound of the paper ripping snapped me back to reality. I looked at the torn agreement, apologizing. Sorry, Ben. I placed the contract on the table, confused. Can I ask why? Doesn't an industries have its own venture capital partners? Diana seemed to have anticipated my question. She slowly approached, extending her hand. On her wrist was the bracelet I had originally gifted her to bring her into this plan. Panda is doing well. I've seen your plans for it. Overall, there's nothing wrong. But don't you think your ambitions are too small? And if I'm not mistaken, you must prefer designing. Right. Panda is just a fallback plan for you. A path that allows you to return regardless of whether you succeed or fail in the future. Diana spoke plainly, pinpointing the crux of the matter. I fell silent, staring at her. The air became still. I awkwardly broke the silence, teasing. You're not seriously thinking of having me design jewelry for you, are you? Diana smiled gently, her tone calm and assured. I just want to be your fallback. You don't like finance. I do. I want to help you grow Panda, and you just need to do what you want. Why? Because I want to pursue you. We are alike. Indeed. In school, we both refrained from engaging with others. I hid to protect myself, while Diana had no need to please anyone. In the narrative, we were both supporting characters. I was the whetstone sharpening Michael's character, and Diana was the stepping stone elevating him. Fortunately, we had both awakened, but that very awakening made me realize what I truly wanted. I didn't accept Diana's goodwill, knowing from that moment on that no one would be my fallback. Only I could be my own. Even in this fictional world, no one is born a side character. In one's own perspective, everyone is the protagonist.